Gantt charts are a great way to visualize project progress, but building one from scratch, especially one that updates automatically as tasks are added or moved forward, can be tricky and time-consuming. No worries though, I've got you covered. I'm sharing a free Gantt chart template that pulls data straight from your Jira development projects and builds a dynamic chart right in your Excel workbook, complete with filters and everything you need to stay on top of your project. And with a few quick tweaks, you can easily adapt it to work with any project or data source. Grab it now from the link in the corner of your screen, or check the video description below. Now, let's talk about setting up the template. The first step is to determine how to connect your data. The key is to ensure it updates automatically, for example, every morning, so you only need to set it up once and you're good to go. In this template, the data flow from Jira is handled by Coupler.io, a popular no-code automation tool that connects hundreds of apps to your Excel workbook. One of those apps is Jira, and with a simple JQL, you can pull exactly the data you need from your project. Here's an example. This query pulls issues created in the last 30 days from the CPL project, filtered by specific statuses. Let's take a look at the data preview. Jira includes tons of fields by default, many of which aren't useful for this kind of analysis. So let's hide the custom fields we don't need. Let's keep the sprint start and end dates, but let's rename them right away for clarity. And since we're not tracking time spent in Jira, we can remove that field. The fewer fields you keep, the easier your analysis will be. Looks like a few issues from another project slipped through the cracks. They weren't properly filtered out. So let's fix that now. We only want to include issues from the onboarding project at our dummy business. While we're at it, let's sort the data, say by the sprint start field in ascending order. Next, send the data to Excel, or choose an alternative destination, such as Power BI or Tableau. Just connect your account and select the workbook you want to send the data to. You can use an existing sheet, but it's recommended to create a new one with a clear and descriptive name. Now let's run the import. It's a good idea to set up a refresh schedule right away, so that any changes in Jira are automatically reflected in your spreadsheet. A daily update every morning works well for me. And here's the imported data in Excel. I'm using it to power the Gantt chart template with all the Jira issues we just pulled. Any updates to the source data are instantly reflected in the Gantt chart. Now, here's a quick disclaimer. Since every Jira project is different, the formulas in this template probably won't work perfectly for your setup right out of the gate. Maybe you'd like a filter where you can type in a task name and see all matching issues. That's totally doable. It just requires a few tweaks. Or maybe you don't use sprints and rely only on dates. That's easy to adjust too. Think of this template as a solid starting point that you can tailor to fit your needs with just a bit of tweaking. And one more thing while we're at it. I built this template in Excel Online to keep it universal, but that does come with some limitations. A few of the formulas might look more complex than they need to be, and you'd be right. Many of them could be simplified if you're using Excel Desktop. I'll point out where those simplifications are possible as we go. Okay, so let's go over the formulas used in this template. At the top, the orange fields are the input fields. In cell B2, you could enter your Jira project name. This value is then used to build hyperlinks for each Jira key and epic, allowing you to jump straight to any specific task without needing to manually type in its key. The type and assignee filters are drop-down lists that reference specific columns in the Params tab. There, I pull the unique issue types and assignees from the source data, and then use data validation rules to create drop-downs from those ranges. Next, there's the Sprint Helper tab, which pulls the list of issue keys and sprint values from the Coupler data tab. There's also a formula that extracts the sprint numbers and outputs them in separate columns. This will come in handy when we build the Gantt chart in the Dashboard tab. And now, let's take a look at the main formula. It's a bit long, but that's because we're doing quite a few transformations along the way. Here, we're building a vertical stack of several columns from our data source. Using the let function, we define a few variables up front. We grab all non-empty rows, pick the issue type and assignee, and also fetch the domain based on the value in cell B2. Next, we apply a filter based on the issue type. Then, in the following two columns, we extract the assignee's name, stripping out the @ symbol and everything that follows. We also set up a filter for this field. After that, we bring in the label fields. To keep things simple, we assume there can be up to 3 labels, so we grab up to 3 columns from the source. The number of such columns can also be dynamically detected, but it's more of an advanced scenario. Then, we join the labels into a single comma-separated string. Finally, we generate the JIRA URLs for each issue key and epoch, and select which columns to return as the final output. Now, onto the most important part, the formulas that build the Gantt chart. First, we have a formula that returns a sorted, unique list of sprint numbers, which you can see in columns I and J. Then, we apply conditional formatting to color the cells based on whether they meet the right criteria. Here's how it works. The formula starts by extracting the sprint number from the full sprint name. Then, it looks up the corresponding JIRA key from the current row in the Sprint Helper tab, and checks whether that key is scheduled for the sprint number we're evaluating. If there's a match, the cell is colored blue. Otherwise, it stays blank. For added visual clarity, we also apply another conditional formatting rule to shade every second row of the table. The formula checks if the row is even or odd, starting from row 6. So we subtract 5 to skip the header and begin the pattern where the data actually starts. And that's it. Just a reminder, you'll find the link to the template in the video description below. And if you're looking to bring other data into your Excel workbook or Power BI reports, definitely check out Coupler.io. You can try it out for free. No credit card details are needed. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a thing. See you next time.